So fun fact, on the Sony a7 IIIs, I've been using one for a while. I haven't figured out how to get face detection to work in video mode, and I finally took the time to go on YouTube and look it up, and now it's working. So the other day on Instagram, I posted a story asking the question, how many of you actually use a planner to stay productive, to plan your week, day, or month? And 45% of you said that you couldn't live without a planner, and 55% of you said that you wish you could use it more, or you used your planner more. So that's what we're gonna talk about in today's video. We're gonna dive into the tips and tricks that I use to stay organized and how I use my planner. Now, to give you guys a little bit of background story before we dive into this video, I've tried to use a planner in the past and it never really stuck for me. I've used my phone, I tried to use my laptop, electronical, iCalendars, or whatever the method may be. Just nothing really worked for me. I would always end up just not using it. Somewhere in the middle of like the year, or sometimes even in the beginning of the year, I would just stop using the planner and I would just kind of go about my day. Now, if you have a planner and it's working for you, the way you use it, stick to it. I would love to hear in the comment section down below the tips that you use to stay organized. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, the first thing to consider is the type of planner that you're using. Now, the type of planner you use is very important. For me, I love to use monthly planners because they're much thinner than the daily or weekly planners, because they're much, those are much thicker because they have a lot more pages, obviously. But I like using the thinner planners because it's easier to throw in the bag, and I hate having extra weight on me. So that's a big reason why I like to use the monthly planners. Another reason why I like using them is because when I tried to use daily and weekly planners in the past, or the planners that kind of just like dump all your thoughts and have a lot of pages, a lot of empty spaces, I caught myself just feeling overwhelmed, and I never really wanted to write it down, eat breakfast, hit the gym, because it was just overwhelming for me. And then before I knew it, I'm like, I'll just remember to do that, and I would just not use my planner. And before you knew it, my planner was just in a drawer and I was never touching it. Now, the reason why the monthly is good, because I don't have to write the tiny task on it down. That I use my phone for mainly, which we'll talk about in another video. But the monthly planner is really for looking at big scope, where I'm headed, and what my weeks consist of on a bigger vision or bigger scale, and not so much what I'm doing on a day-to-day. But that really helps me and my business to stay focused and on track. Now, what you use the planner for is very important. Everyone has different things happening in their lives, but for me personally, I use my planner to put down, client meetings, video shoots, due dates, even personal activities, vacations, trips, big events, just pretty much everything. But the key is to use it to kind of track what you're doing in life in unison with putting what you're doing in your month and the important dates in it. I like to color coordinate my events. And obviously, it's not because I'm a neat freak, but really it's because at the end of the month, I really want to be able to look at what I spent my time doing. For example, if there's more of one color, I'll know that I kind of spent more time in that area. So, for me, if personal was kind of taking too much time and I wasn't really taking time on my business, that's a problem. So that's why I need to find that good work-life balance, and having it be color coordinated, I can just flip through the months and I'll easily be able to tell where I spend most of my time. It's been a really awesome reflection piece for me as the months go by, and once the whole year is up, you'll know exactly where your focus was and what you should have been doing, or what you could improve for the next year. Now, one thing I like to put next to the important date or thing that I wrote down after I color coordinated it is the time. I like to put the time because when the week arrives where that event or that day is very important, whenever I keep looking at my planner and I see the time, I kind of start to slowly remind myself to prepare to get, to prepare to be there on time. There's been so many occasions where I would write an event, wouldn't write the time in my planner, and then the week came and then I would forget when I had to be there by, and I'll have to follow up with that person or that client, and it just really didn't help. Or I would, on the day of, I'd be guessing, I think I need to be there by this time. So having the time is very important, like you would in just when you're logging anything in your phone, it always asks you to put your time and the date. Make sure when you're writing it down in a planner, you also put the time. And that's really it. It's really simple. I'm not doing anything extravagant. I try my best to, keep it very simple, because I think when it comes to planners, a lot of times people overwhelm themselves and they're like, I'm gonna crush it this year. I'm gonna put everything down, everything I do on a daily basis, and it just kind of gets them to, it gives them room to be lazy because it just takes a lot of unnecessary work, in my opinion. If you just have a very simple approach to it, then it'll help you, you know, not think of it as like a chore to write in your planner, but more so to kind of help you stay focused and something that you actually need in order to crush it every single month or week. Now, if you're watching this and you're not using a planner, the biggest takeaway that you should have from this video is that the reason why you should use a planner is because our minds are bombarded every single day with so much information, so many things, and having a planner is a good way to kind of dump those thoughts. Now, not everyone uses a physical planner. Some people use, you know, a digital note-taking app, something like that, and I do too, which I'll talk about in another video. But in terms of your schedule, having it in your mind is very stressful, whether you know it right now or not. So by writing them down in a planner, you're essentially freeing up more mental space. And the best kind of example or analogy that I could kind of use to it is like, you know, when your phone or your desktop starts to have a lot of storage built up, and everyone knows that once storage starts building up and it gets kind of to like that full point, your computer starts slowing down, your phone starts slowing down, the functions are not working as properly as they should or as fast as they used to. I feel like our brains are the same way. Once we get to a certain capacity and our minds are feeling very full, if you don't dump it somewhere on some kind of, you know, note-taking app or on a planner, you're just gonna start working slower because your mind is working extra hard to remember things that are not that important, but you just need to dump it down so you can free your mind to think of other things. When we store less data in our mind, we work more efficiently, more organized. It kind of makes a chain of reaction in everything that we do throughout our lifestyle. I know this video wasn't anything crazy, but I hope you got something from it. I know it's only January, so if you don't have a planner yet, make sure you go get one. I promise you won't regret it. If you stick to it, you'll be able to look back on your year and see exactly how you used it and how it benefited you. So let's all crush it this year, and I'll see you guys in the next video.